activism. So let's get on, y'all. Woo!
But forgive me, I've been running blind and true. I'm a rain, tell the sweet I'm new. I'm a rain on the thunder, tell the sun I'm new. I'm a watch on the thunder, raining white flags blue. But forgive me, I've been telling these tears gonna run away, and this one blood into blood. Freedom, I hate you. Keep running, cause a winner don't quit on themselves. I'm away through the waters, till the tide don't move. I'm a ride through your borders, coming bulletproof. But forgive me, I've been running through. I'm away, your shadow love, never keep on moving. Telling these tears gonna run away. This one blood keep running, cause a winner don't quit on themselves.
Everybody, we're gonna do a little call and response. When I say freedom, you say now. Freedom! Now! Freedom! Now! When I say ice, you say out. Ice! Out! Ice! Out! We say Trump. We say bad. Trump! Bad! Trump! Bad! All right, let's kick this back up.
I'm keep running 'cause when I go, quit on them saying.
On that one. Carol on the guitar, Marty on the harp. We're gonna be sticking with the freedom thing.
Yes. Take us down Freedom Highway, Miss Valerie Hardin.
Yeah, this next song was done by these pretty staple singers to encourage people walking for voting rights in Selma. And unfortunately, it's still needed today. So thank you, staple singers.
Yeah.
Just one thing I can't understand, my friends. The war some voting freedom was not designed for all men. There are so many people living their lives perplexed, wondering in their minds what's gonna happen next.
Next we have Rhythm, our drummer, going to be leading the next song.
If you want it, you can have it. All you gotta do is just reach right out and grab it. If you want it, you can have it. All you gotta do now is just reach right out and grab it. Come on up. Step into your power. Step into your power, child. Come on. Step into your power. Oh. Step into your power, child. Now listen. All you need, you already own. It was given to you on the day that you were born. Everything that your heart can dream, you can make it reality. Step into your power. Step into your power, child. Step into your power. Step into your power, child. Don't be afraid, oh, 'cause getting back up is gonna make you strong. God only made one like you. So come on, baby, just do what you were born to do. Now step on up, step into your power. Step into your power, child. Step into your power. Ooh. Step into your power, child. Step into your power. Step into your power, child. Step into your power. just another scene, another fact that's why they keep us trapped in greed. All the green belts wrapped around our minds and endless red tape to keep the truth alive. Changing mind control and the revolution take its toll. If you could let the switch and open your third eye, see that we should never be afraid to die. Rise up and break the power back. This time a fat cat had a heart attack. You know that time is going to run and we have to unify what your fingers say.
We debuted this last Saturday at PB Rally for Democracy. I hope you enjoy it. Sing along if you know it.
There's one child.
that burn horses, all the saints that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that hold office are the same that burn crosses. Killing in the name of, killing in the name of. Do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now they do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Do what they told ya. Now they do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now they do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now they do what they told ya. Those who die, they justify. We're in the past, cause it's so simple. You justify. Those who die, we're in the past, we're the chosen one. Those who die, we're justified. We're in the past, we're the chosen one. We justify. Those who die, we're in the past, we're the chosen one. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that are in office are the same that burn crosses. Building in the name of, building in the name of. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Now they 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 do what they told ya. Justified, we're in the flesh, in the chosen one. Justified, those who died, we're in the flesh, in the chosen one. Those who died are justified, we're in the flesh, in the chosen one. We justify, those who died, we're in the flesh, in the chosen one. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
This next one's original, written by Linda Bruton.
And how about that guitar? Oh my God!
On fire, We're tuning because we care. We gotta make sure Sarah's
Everybody up on your feet, million strong march to the beat. City streets, the open plain, power belongs to the people. Growing built to life, no kids, no crowds, just in the deal. We never go on to the take a ride, we're gonna forget, working out. We stand proud, we're rising, we're higher, and bring us down. Rolling through every time. They're taking our shot. Better we are broken. The nation of our That's what we Coast to coast, our voices unite. When freedom will stand and fight. The fearless we're here to stay. Finds us when we have lost.
For those of you who've never heard of them before, they're a group of badass musicians who, through their music, represent protest music written throughout ages and take an active stand to resist the hate, injustice, and ignorance of the world. Also, shout out to IATSE for supporting us today with the sound equipment. My name is Liz. I'm a Labor Summer Fellow at UC San Diego Labor Center. It's great to be here today. I actually been up here because for the past few weeks I've been on the other side of this. And I've seen the community that has been built because of actions like this. For those of you who may not know what the UC San Diego Labor Center is, we are a center that works to strengthen and expand the labor movement through research, education, partnerships with workers, labor organizations, policymakers, tribal organizations, and the broader San Diego region and Imperial County. And the way we do that is through the Labor Summer Fellowship, which is a program that brings together students from San Diego and Imperial Valley with local labor organizations that are committed to worker justice. Fellows like myself work on projects that help build worker power in their communities and support the broader social justice goals of labor movement. Because at the end of the day, immigrant rights, worker rights, same struggle, same fight. We work under a bureaucratic resource, but that does not stop us from putting into practice our First Amendment right. Because when we see workers under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When we see our community under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! Yes, and we don't allow that resource to keep us from voicing our truths. The theme from this program today, as Laura Payne had said, is Artivism and Political Education. Why Artivism and Political Education? To me, Artivism is a form of vulnerability that can ignite power. It allows people to express themselves through movement, writing, speaking, and action. When I think of artivism, I think of people who aren't afraid to be vulnerable and use their voices and creativity to inspire change. Political education makes that possible. It gives people the knowledge, confidence, and understanding to turn their creativity into action. Together, Artivism and Political Education empowers people to tell their stories, challenge injustice, and build collective power. We already experienced that through the music of the Resizters. The music reminds us that art can educate, unite, and move people to act. But Artivism doesn't stop there. We have dancers and speakers who are here or have been part of the Labor Summer Fellowship today who are ready to share their stories, talents, and voices with you all. They remind us that every form of expression has the power to spark conversation, build community, and create change. But before we get started, can y'all be loud enough for the people inside the building to hear? When I say ice, you say out. Ice! 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 Our first speaker is going to be talking about the dispelling myth of the dangerous immigrant. A 2024 legal studies and politics graduate from UC Santa Cruz and a fellow alongside me at the UC San Diego Labor Center this summer. Please help me welcome to the stage Lomelín-Orduña.
Hola a todos, ¿cómo estamos? Hola, mi nombre es Lomelín-Orduña. I'm a fellow here with UCSD Labor Center. Thank you, Liz, for introducing me. Most of my work this summer has been research-based. We've been looking at the conditions that workers in the region face, and something that keeps surfacing across interaction after interaction is a simple mismatch. The story being told about dangerous immigrants and the evidence, the story the evidence actually tells, are not the same story. I also come to this from somewhere other than research. I'm the son of immigrants. I grew up in Orange County, working alongside my family, serving the same immigrant communities we lived among. So when I hear the rhetoric of the dangerous immigrant, I hear an old argument, dressed up again, aimed at people like the ones who raised me. They tell us our neighbors are dangerous. They say our co-workers are criminals. They point at our families and use them as a justification for raids, for cages, for terror in the streets. And the research doesn't support any of it. Shame. For over 2 decades, criminologists Karis Kubrin and Graham Lucy have studied the relationship between immigration and crime, and their body of work, along with the broader field it draws from, has reached a consistent conclusion. Immigration is not associated with increased crime rates. Not a slight increase, not a mixed picture. Their research demonstrates that there is effectively no relationship between immigration and crime rates. And when there is a statistically significant relationship, more immigration is associated with less crime. Let me repeat that. More immigration is associated with less crime. Dr. Kubrin also helped develop what scholars call the immigration revitalization thesis. This is the idea that immigrants move into struggling, depopulated, deindustrialized neighborhoods and strengthen them. They start businesses, they anchor families, they build the social cohesion that is the actual foundation of public safety. Their more recent work makes a point worth sitting with. No single word or category can explain who a person actually is. Not documented, not undocumented, not criminal, not alien. Every one of those labels flattens a whole life, a whole set of reasons why someone is here into a single word. And that flattening is exactly what allows a normalization of raids, cages, and family separation. Shame. Reducing a person to that one word is what allows policy to treat them as interchangeable, easy to detain, easy to deport, easy to write off, because the word has already done the work of erasing everything else about them. This matters because policy keeps getting built on the flattened version. Sanctuary policies get blamed for crime that the data doesn't support. Enforcement programs get funded on the premise that removing immigrants will make neighborhoods safer. And the research keeps failing to find that safety on the other end. What it does find is people afraid to call the police, afraid to report abuse, afraid to leave their homes. That fear does not stay contained to one group. It spreads through a whole community's relationship to the institutions that are supposed to protect it. I've watched that fear settle into a household. I've watched how it changes how people answer the door, how they talk on the phone, how they plan a trip to the grocery store. It's not abstract to me. It has a face, and often it has my uncle's face or the faces of the people who raised me. I want to bring in a couple of other voices here because the research alone does not capture everything at stake in a moment like this one. Philosopher Judith Butler has written about what happens when a society decides that certain lives are grievable and others are not, that some people's safety matters and others don't. Butler talks about precariousness, the basic vulnerability every human being shares, and how political violence works by trying to transfer that vulnerability onto somebody else. Strike first, and you tell yourself you are no longer the one at risk. But Butler's point is that this does not actually reduce vulnerability in the world. It multiplies it and changes who carries the fear. That is what raids do. That is what family separation does. That is what detention centers do. They don't create safety. They manufacture new sites of harm, and they call it protection. I think here too of Kent Wong, who spent over 3 decades directing the UCLA Labor Center and teaching a course on nonviolence and social movements alongside Reverend James Lawson. His argument was that nonviolence is not the absence of resistance, it is a discipline of resistance, one built through preparation rather than instinct. In 2025, as federal agents moved through Los Angeles, that ethos became a concrete plan through nonviolence trainings for over 1,000 workers and union members, and teaching people how to hold the line to protect one another and de-escalate a confrontation without ever conceding the space. He called it thoughtful mass action. And this phrase matters because it refuses a false choice. You don't have to choose between showing up and staying disciplined. The two reinforce each other. Numbers without discipline turns chaotic. Discipline without numbers gets ignored. That is the same logic Butler is describing in a different register. Refusing to escalate is not passivity, and it is not the same as doing nothing. It is a choice that takes more coordination, not less. And it is exactly what this community keeps choosing, rally after rally, instead of despair. So when we say ISAT San Diego, we are not asking for less safety. We're asking for an end to a system that manufactures fear and calls it order, that treats entire communities as disposable in order to look tough on a problem that the evidence says does not exist in the way that it's described. I'm standing here today because of people who came to another country so I could stand somewhere safer than where they started. I refuse to watch that same crossing get punished as a crime, whether it happens in San Diego, in Orange County, or anywhere else in this country. Our neighbors are not a threat. Our neighbors are not disposable. And the research, along with the people, has been saying so for a long time. ISAT San Diego. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos.
Let's give it up for Chris, everybody! And if anybody wants, we have t-shirts over there. Billionaires, workers over billionaires, t-shirts over there, and water. So please get some if you can. I'm gonna start off with a chant before I introduce the next speaker. Ready? No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Hey, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Woo! Our next speaker is Francis Galang, who is a Ph.D. student at UC San Diego, an alumni at the UCSD Labor Summer Program in 2023. He is a researcher, organizer, educator with the UC San Diego Labor Center. Let's give it up for Francis!
Good morning, everyone! And let's get ICE out of SD! My name is Francis Galang. I'm an organizer, researcher, and educator working with the UCSD Labor Center. I'm a PhD student, and I was a Labor Summer Fellow in the founding cohort of 2023. Today's theme is Artivism and political education. I'll be speaking to the second half of that theme, political education, and what it means to inspire our youth. I want to talk about the forces competing to shape our imagination in this moment. And I want to talk about San Diego as a world we aspire within and a world we aspire with. As a city we make and remake through the visions of those within it. You have heard and will continue to hear from visionary young people whose hopes carry our region forward, defining what this region becomes and who it should serve. But young people don't enter movements empty. They enter with visions, questions, judgments, and desires of their own. So first, for our movements in bringing in young people, I ask, what hopes are worthy of our young people? Are our movements building or merely reacting? Are we asking young people only to defend what remains? Or are we inviting them to create what does not yet exist? Are our visions democratic, inclusive, imaginative enough for those who come after us? Because in bringing young people into our city, I have parallel questions for the city of San Diego. Why does the city pretend that there is no work to do? Why should we accept a city experienced so unevenly? A city defined by militarism, weapons production, surveillance technologies, and concentration camps, yet defended by the luxury it offers to those permitted to enjoy it?
All of that.
Why is navigating the city so despairing? Why should we be content with a region that tops the charts in cost of living and insane rent, cycling those navigating their aspirations and the city's promise from job to job and apartment to apartment, while reducing those same people to bare survival? Why are we asked to mistake privilege for progress, to confuse comfort with justice, prosperity with democracy, and luxury with freedom? Because who here is tired?
Me.
Tired of the American dream? Tired because of the American dream? Tired because we live in a city that is simultaneously promising and draining, where the American dream sits right next to the contradictions it tries to hide? This city possesses the promise of merit and the promise of work. It promises luxury, diversity, and infrastructure for aspiration, while simultaneously centering an economy that depends upon the border, the military, surveillance, and the governance of immigration. If San Diego is held up as the American dream, a place people are told to aspire towards because of its universities, biotechnology, tourism, and cultural industries, then we should ask, San Diego is America for whom exactly?
Right.
San Diego is America because of whom exactly? Is American aspiration the work we invest in because of our communities? Or is American dreaming and imagination constrained by our willingness to accept fear as a tolerable part of our everyday life? Because I know you are tired. Our attention has been divided again and again in recent years. We answer emails while checking whether another increase in groceries, gas, or rent will finally make the month impossible. We make dinner while reading about another flood, another fire, another heat wave. We move through schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods while people around us fear that an ordinary commute, an ordinary workday, or an ordinary knock at the door might become an encounter with ICE. We go to work while layoffs, budget cuts, and political attacks draw closer to the institutions on which our lives depend. Somewhere between the demands of life before us and the crises unfolding beyond us, how are we supposed to know which problem demands our attention first? Because there's always more. Another bill, another ruling, another raid, another closure, another strike, another war, another program cut, another colleague laid off, another family displaced, another community asked to absorb what should have never been theirs to bear. Another crisis arriving before the last has found its name. And still there's less time, less money, fewer people, fewer places to turn, fewer institutions able to withstand what's being asked of them. Positions disappear, offices close, apartments hollow out, teachers leave, caseworkers leave. The work remains, no new positions, no one hired to replace those who are gone. No time to teach what has been learned, no room to prepare who might come next, no language large enough for all that must be said. And yet, more money for ICE. We are governed to aspire within endurance. Endurance is the mindset that this nation and this city asks us to aspire within. endurance. The task of this city, the task of this nation becomes making it through. Getting through the quarter, the degree, the work week, the recession, the administration, the crisis, the decade. But a life organized entirely around endurance gradually loses its relationship to imagination. The future becomes something to wait for rather than something to build. You speak later, act later, dream later. You become convinced that your real life will begin when conditions improve. But why be cynical in front of the kids? Why task young people with surviving rather than becoming? With San Diego as it is rather than as it should be? With aspirations they're expected to live inside rather than aspirations they can participate in and build from? Young people are asked to be the hope. You are the hope of your families, the hope of your schools, the hope of your communities. And as a generation, you are hoped to fix this mess. There is pressure to hope all around you and intense reasons to despair within you. A housing crisis you didn't create, an economy that asks you to work harder while imagining less. Schools, workplaces, and public institutions stretch beyond what they can sustain. Democracy growing fragile, a city increasingly organized around fear, and an immigration system that turns ICE into a political tool to deport not only our neighbors, but to make entire communities afraid to speak, to gather, to organize, and to belong. ICE exists in part to defeat our spirit, to make us aspire on the defensive, to reduce our communities to triage, to constrain imagination to reaction against the administration, to make people hide in the face of government. When so many forces compete for your energy, your survival, your commitment, your hope, and your despair, political education begins with learning to distinguish between them. To ask, whose imagination do I live in? Which hopes are mine? Which hopes have been handed to me? Which despair is mine? What despair have I been tasked to live inside? Which dreams belong to my community? And which dreams ask me to accept the world as it already is? Political education is not simply learning about the world. It is learning to recognize whose imagination is organizing this world and realizing that we can organize it differently. Because if ICE's concentration camp is in our city, ICE is also a problem through which the meaning of our city is decided. ICE out means redefining our city. But redefining our city means participating with young people. Education should not prepare young people merely to enter the world that we have made. It should prepare all of us to participate with them in deciding what this city should become. Because San Diego is not finished. It is still ours to imagine. So I ask all of us again, what hopes are worthy of our young people? How do we build with them? How do we create the conditions in which their hopes can become power? And how do we build a San Diego where ICE is not only driven out of our city, but where the fear, exclusion, and inequality that made ICE possible are no longer allowed to govern our city? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francis. Give it up for Francis, everybody! When I say no fear, no hate, no ICE in our state, Our next speaker is Chris, who is also a Labor Summer Fellow with IATSE Local 122. They have been organizing underground workers at UCSD with SPARK, which is an anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist workers organization. Let's give it up for Chris. Hi all. Sorry.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal. I'm a Labor Summer Fellow with IATSE 122. Rep. Shout out Rudy, shout out Fernanda. And I'm also a member of SPARK at UC San Diego. I'm here to talk about the role of art in anti-imperialist resistance. I want to begin with a quote that illustrates what the role of art in revolution is to me. You cannot carry out a fundamental change without a certain amount of madness. In this case, it comes from nonconformity, the courage to turn your back on old formulas, and the courage to invent the future. This is from Thomas Sankara, Burkinabe revolutionary and Marxist who liberated his country from French neocolonization in 1983. A landlocked country ravished by French colonial rule for over 60 years now rejected all foreign aid. Nationalized land, vaccinated over 2 million children, and planted 10 million trees to combat the desertification of the Sahel, all in 5 years. 350 communities now with schools, every village with a medical dispensary. This is the task that the Burkinabe people undertook, one that took courage, one that took the madness that Sankara speaks of. Standing before all the artists today, and I use the word artist very broadly, as every scientist, teacher, organizer, and worker who imagines a better future is also an artist. What kind of world do you imagine? Maybe what we're here for today, an end to ICE, an end to broader imperialism, where family members don't die in detention centers, where migrants don't die crossing borders and rivers, where our parents and grandparents aren't forced to migrate homes just to survive. If we want to abolish ICE, we have to understand why it exists. It is not a broken institution. It is not a result of bad politicians. It is a result of capitalism. It is a result of capitalism imperialism. And it is evident all across the world. In Cuba, decades of economic blockade seek to pressure a country that has resisted U.S. economic domination. In the Philippines, more than a century after U.S. colonization, military agreements and expanding U.S. bases keep the Filipino people suffering and at the whim of the U.S., and they force them to leave their country to escape starvation and suffering. In Palestine, billions of dollars and the U.S. military aid help sustain Israel's occupation and military campaign for financial conquest of the Middle East. The ruthless slaughter of over 80,000 Palestinians, families, children, babies for greed of empire. And here, at our own border, we see the same logic in Mexico. For decades, American trade agreements, foreign investment, and economic policies have reshaped livelihoods. The same economy that benefits from the labor of international workers then criminalizes their movement across the border. It welcomes labor when it is profitable, and punishes their humanity, and takes their lives when politically convenient. So we know that an end to ICE is an end to capitalism imperialism, and that the system puts money into detention instead of housing, surveillance instead of healthcare, and bombs instead of education. Now I ask this: what action are you willing to see this world free of ICE? What actions are you willing to take to see this world free of ICE, borders, and capitalism imperialism? We are often told that joy is resistance in a system that wants us isolated and hopeless. But history teaches us that joy alone has never ended colonialism, defeated fascism, or stopped deportations. Joy can sustain movements, but it cannot replace them.
Right.
The ruling class is comfortable with resistance that is symbolic. They can tolerate paintings, songs, dances, and carefully managed dissent, including events like this one that we're sharing today. And these matter. They bring us together and they help us imagine something different. But it is only the beginning. When the ruling class does fear, is workers withholding their labor, tenants organizing their buildings, and communities building institutions capable of challenging state violence. This task will take courage, nonconformity, and a madness that I see in this crowd today. Every revolutionary movement has made art. But no revolutionary movement succeeded because it made art. It succeeded because ordinary people became organized. So let your art inspire chaos, madness, and the nonconformity that Sankara speaks of. Thank you.
Give it up for Chris, everybody! When the people are united, we'll never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
The workers united will never be defeated.
The workers united will never be defeated.
Give it a round of applause, everybody! Our next speaker is Brianna Young. She's a graduate from UCSD, class of 2026. And a current fellow for the San Diego and Imperial County Labor Council. Give it up for Brianna, everybody!
Hello? Okay. So this is kind of awkward. I told everyone I was gonna have a speech about the song Fuck the Police by NWA, because you know art, and everyone knows that song. But I'm actually in the middle of moving, and while I was moving, I found a memoir for my grandfather. He was born in 1936. He grew up in the Jim Crow South in Huntsville, Alabama, and he served this military for his entire life before he became a community college janitor and a union member. So I thought it was only right that I share his story because he didn't get to share it. Oh my God, thanks. So yeah, I'm just gonna share some of his words because he didn't get to become educated until he was 41, and he still took the time to write all of this. I'm not going to give the family drama, but you know, a lot of it is still relevant to today. So, I'm going to start with a question that he asked to the future. Many people ask the following question: if our country is involved in World War III, do you think our young people would participate? Their answers were no. This is because the military benefits promise with nothing to show for it, for sacrificing one's lives to save people who are so quick to forget. Inhumane treatment by their leaders, low pay, almost no medical services for families, and no chance of looking towards retirement unless one spends his entire life in military services. My grandfather was not ignorant to the system that he worked for. He was not ignorant to the machine that churned him out and left him with nothing. On the morning of July 13th, 1926, he was born in Huntsville, Alabama. He went to an all-black school, working on a sharecropper's farm because slavery, right? He moved from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He served in Korea. He served in Vietnam. He was in the Philippines. He was in Japan. He traveled his whole life looking at what others had. And it took him until he was 20 to realize that this was not normal. What our normal is, a black man who had nothing to show for his life of service, was nothing more than just another cog in the machine. So today I'm going to be sharing his quotes because that's what he would have wanted. I learned while reading this book, he would have had a college degree. I've prided myself on being a first-generation college student, not knowing he attended Sacramento State University with no degree to show for it. I majored in clinical psychology and a minor in African American studies. He majored in ethnic studies and a minor in psychology. It felt only right for a man that I never met who died before I was born to basically set me up for the things that I would find passion in later in life. Bear with me. While we sit here today together, he has many questions that I think we are asking. The home of the brave and the free, and yet we, the citizens born of the country, are we? Prisons are a social slavery, victims of injustice towards human right, discriminated because our color or race. Maybe we are not good enough to be soldiers, but we are good enough to be servants. So you tell me how military commanders would justify such action. We cuddle up with the Japanese and the Germans. This is very relevant when he was writing it. And it's still relevant today. While our tax dollars go overseas, poor people starve in the streets. Kids go without. The hungry go without. The poor, the old, the retired, everyone goes without. And so, he writes about human rights. People helping each other when it is need, not when it is done. When a human is worth only a copper penny, I have faith in the human race, and this will not continue. Because somewhere out there on this earth, there are people who will come forth and speak out without being forced to do so. I hope. So all you good people who believe in brotherly love, look around you and observe what is happening to your fellow humans. So if you don't believe me, I will stand to be corrected. Leaving the violence to the paid law that protects us in our rights. He died in 2001. I never got to meet him. He died before ICE was formed, and yet we have the same problems. He grew up in the Jim Crow South. He lived through segregation. He lived through integration, and he still believed in Martin Luther King's fight, even without the fight. So today, I want you to look at each other, old, young, black, brown, white, retired, working, students, and realize that our ancestors were doing the exact same thing. Not even ancestors, this is my grandfather. That is not history, that is a family legacy. So when you're out here thinking that nothing is changing, nothing has changed because we're still fighting these same fights. And it is my job and it is your job to continue those fights until we actually have some progress. Thank you.
Wow. I'm like distraught right now, sorry. I was like crying over there a bit in the corner. Sorry guys. That was so powerful and it was so beautiful to hear. Thank you, Brianna, for sharing that with us. Our next speaker is Juliana. She is a current fellow at the UC San Diego Labor Center after graduating from UC San Diego this past spring. They are involved in community organizing and the co-founder for Baile Folclórico de Arcoíris del Sur. Please welcome Juliana.
Hello everyone, my name is Juliana, as Liz said. I present myself here today as a current fellow of the Labor Center, as a San Diego artist, and as a Mexican American. These aspects of my identity don't give me the validity to stand up here and speak to you all, but they give me a reason. This Thursday's theme for ICE out of San Diego, hosted by the Labor Center, is Artivism and Political Education. This summer, I have begun to learn the ways in which labor upholds itself as a means of worker empowerment and, through institutions, as a means of survival that I critique as slightly greedy, lacking in class consciousness, and lacking in solidarity. At this year's International Conference for Musicians' Unions across the US and Canada, a proposal was made that only legal citizens could have membership at their local unions. Luckily, this recommendation did not pass by the committees. Meanwhile, musicians' unions have started to make efforts to push against AI usage in music and recording spaces. However, labor as a whole supports data centers for the jobs that they create for workers. I say all of these things as truths because we must refuse to be censored, and we must point out these contradictions in order to challenge the incongruities we are surrounded by as an act of survival. The question I continue to ask in response is, how can we continue to work towards a liberated future that is rooted in love and creativity, not just survival? A future where our neighbors and families are not in fear of dehumanization and deportation, but get to explore their artistic interests and creativities. That's the future I'm trying to create. Between January 2025 and April 2026, over 16,000 San Diego community members were taken by ICE. That's a really sad number, and 16,000 fills the Pachanga Arena. I don't just stand here to speak to you as an act of performance, but as a member of this coalition of sustained pressure to actually get ICE out. That's our goal here. As a San Diego artist, I continue to ask my fellow artists and collaborators to work through my question in performance and in their art. How do we continue to work towards a liberated future that is rooted in love and creativity and not just survival? Because as we investigate and work towards collective solutions on all fronts, our ability to create and be artists is being challenged in San Diego. As many of you know, a proposal to completely zero the funding for arts and culture was proposed earlier this year by Todd Gloria. Yeah, fuck Todd Gloria. Meanwhile, our police force and DHS continue to see budget increases. Although much of the funding to arts and culture has been reinstated, us artists are forced to continue to push for the survival of arts and our livelihoods, and the livelihoods of our neighbors in the fight for a liberated future. Now, my identity as a Mexican American tells me to continue to uphold my culture with pride for all those who have crossed into the U.S. like my family. So today, I present myself and someone from my club, shout out Pamela from BF Arcoiris, to dance for them, to dance for ourselves, and to dance for all of you guys as a means to inspire hope in a time of contradictions and to center ourselves in a place of love and creativity, not just survival, as we work towards this fight. Thank you and fuck ICE.
Yeah, girl.
Let's give it up for Juliana and Pam, everybody!
Wow. Well, you know what I have to say to that? Money for jobs and education, not for mass deportation.
That's right.
Our next speaker is Crisoforo. He is a field organizer for the San Diego and Imperial County Labor Council and alumni of the UC San Diego Labor Summer Program in 2024. Give it up for Crisoforo, everybody!
I saw the SD! I saw the SD! I saw the SD! I saw the SD! Flock out of SD! Flock out of SD! Flock out of SD! Flock out of SD! Hello everybody, my name is Crisoforo Gomez. And I am an organizer with the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council.
I'm also very proud to be here as a product of the UCSD Labor Center, so give them a huge round of applause for hosting this week's action. You know, I'm very thankful for organizations like CPI, organizations like the Labor Centers up and down the state for doing the very important but also sometimes difficult work of bringing young, politically activated folks into our movement. So give a round of applause for those organizations as well. These are young people that do not believe the political narrative that political change is impossible, that political change is improbable. Just to set the scene for you a little bit. These young people spent their last years in school, their first years in college, their first years entering the workforce during a global pandemic, during a nationwide racial reckoning. They participated in the protests that followed. These young people, they had a genocide live stream to them on their cell phones every single day. They protested, they advocated, and they pleaded with the political establishment that did not share their interests. These young people are now watching that same violence that we perpetuate overseas come home to roost, conducted by a rogue federal agency in ICE that is just as old as they are. In my case, I'm older than it by a little bit, but, you know. And so I say all that, but, you know, at the Labor Council, we do political work for our unions, right? So I'm here in my professional capacity, don't yell at me, to tell you to vote. I'm here to tell you to vote yes on the billionaire's tax because we need healthcare funded. I'm here to tell you to vote for union-endorsed candidates up and down the ballot because we need a buffer between the most violent aspects of this federal administration and our communities. But I'm also here in my personal capacity, especially to ask the young folks here, is voting gonna be enough? I'm sorry, wait, hold on, I didn't hear you. Let me ask that again. Is voting gonna be enough? Is winning back the House and the Senate for the Democratic Party gonna be enough? No! Does this movement end in November or when your internship ends? No! We cannot go back to the status quo because young people will not allow us to go back to the status quo. We know that a better world is possible, and with these sirens in the background, I want you to say it after me. A better world is possible. A better world is possible. One more time. A better world is possible. But this is only true if we do the difficult work of organizing and agitating our friends, our family members, our co-workers into this movement as well. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. It doesn't happen in silos. It also doesn't happen only doing it here with the folks who are already active at ICE out of San Diego. So young people, we need you, but we also need the collective we. We need you to talk to those other young people who do not have the opportunity to join internships like this and get involved. So can y'all do that? Yeah! Y'all are quiet today. Can y'all do that? Yeah! Okay, a great start to that is getting involved, joining our actions list, coming out and supporting our unions, getting involved in the politics in November, and coming out to our Solidarity Community Gathering on Labor Day, the Sunday before Labor Day. We're bringing the community together and we're showing them what labor is all about. So thank you so much for being here. Abolish ICE, free Palestine, all power to the people.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Thank you to all of your speakers. Thank you for coming out here tonight, everybody. To continue to stay involved, Detention Resistance will be hosting our next General Volunteer Orientation this Saturday, August 8th, from 10 a.m. to noon. Come learn about the work they do and how you can join the fight to shut down Otay Mesa Detention Center. They're looking for artists, scholars, educators, organizers, and more to join their work in accompaniment and led by their compass in detention and recently released.
So to you I say, I'm tired of excuses, I'm tired of being afraid. If you want that change, we the people need to make the change. Because who's got the power? We got the power! Who got the power? We got the power! Thank you.
That was a great program. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name's Danny. I'm here with Veterans for Peace and the End RIMPAC Coalition here in San Diego. We would like to invite any and all of you who hate U.S. imperialism to join us Saturday, 11 a.m. at Waterfront Park. The Third Fleet is coming back from Hawaii after the RIMPAC campaign this last month. And we want to show them that while we welcome them back, we do not welcome back what they represent. So please join us. And yeah, fuck ice.
And I say ice, you say out. Ice! 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 Thank you so much for coming, guys.
You rock, girl.
Oh, yeah.